The Life in the Hereafter. What does the Quran say? Translation of Jahan-e-Fada by Ajaz Rasul. Ghulam Ahmad Parwez 1969. 20. Jannat or Paradise. The way in which the Quran has compared a life of pain, turmoil, destruction and ruin with the punishment of fire and given it as an example of a life of hell, it has similarly, contrary to this, compared a life of peace and contentment, prosperity, success, achievement and certainty as an example of Jannat. The root of this word is jnn, which means to hide, or something which is hidden from the eyes. Arabs used to call that orchard a jannat whose soil was not visible due to very dense vegetation. Because in the barren desert lands of Arabia where there was no sign of water and vegetation for mile upon mile, a garden i.e., water, greenery, trees and their shade and fruit was considered a great blessing. Therefore for them the greatest success and prosperity, happiness and pleasures in life, were expressed by this term. Indeed it is not only the Arabs, but every nation of the world, every country and in every time, considers a garden as a sign of peace, tranquility, comfort and freshness. This is the reason the Quran has also used a garden as an example to refer to a successful life. The Quran has mentioned 3 stages or aspects of human life. Stage 1 refers to that period when man's collective social life had not yet commenced. And there was plenty available for his use and needs, and man was not yet familiar with the words, yours, and mine. This was that period in which the word ownership was not yet coined in the human lexicon. The concept was to use and obtain benefit from the available materials. The Quran has called this an example of Adam's paradise. After this man's social life started, and confrontations arose between the mutual interests of human beings due to which the first stage of life ended. For this man was given guidance from Allah through his messengers, so that he could make his social life a paradise on earth. Paradise on earth is the other name of the Quranic society, in which there will not only be means of sustenance but it will also lead to the development of the human self. After death all materials required for physical life will be left behind, and the human self will proceed forward. The self that has become developed will enter a higher developed stage. The Quran has called this a life of paradise as well. In the Quran, Adam's paradise is referred to separately, but after this the right human society and the successful life in the hereafter. Earthly paradise and paradise in the hereafter are mentioned mixed together, but by careful examination the difference between the two becomes apparent. In this regard it is important to understand regarding the details given in the Quran of the rewards relating to paradise, that in earthly paradise it means material things. Similar things or those which produce a similar state of feeling. But in relation to the paradise in the hereafter, these meanings should be understood metaphorically. We should understand that this is a state of feeling which we cannot appreciate at our present level of consciousness. This is why the next life will not be like our physical life in this world, so such details given in the Quran should not be seen like our physical existence. These should be understood as states of feelings. Like hell, paradise in the hereafter is not a place, but refers to a state. 20.1 Jannat is explained metaphorically. In Surah Ra'ad, it is stated, the parable of the garden which the righteous are promised. Beneath it flow rivers. Perpetual is the enjoyment thereof and the shade therein. Such is the end of the righteous, and the end of unbelievers in the fire. 13:35. Similarly in Surah Muhammad, here is a parable of the garden which the righteous are promised. In it are rivers of water incorruptible, rivers of milk of which the taste never changes, rivers of wine, a joy to those who drink, and rivers of honey pure and clear. In it there are for them all kinds of fruits, and grace from their Rabb. Can those in such bliss be compared to such as shall dwell forever in the fire, and be given to drink boiling water, so that it cuts up their inside? 47:15. In Surah Al-Imran. Be quick in the race for seeking protection from your Rabb, and for a garden whose width is that of the whole of the heavens and of the earth, prepared for the righteous. 133. Be you foremost in seeking protection from your Rabb, and a garden of bliss, the width whereof is as the width of heaven and earth, prepared for those who believe in Allah and His messengers. 57:21. It is clear from these verses that paradise is not the name of a particular place. For example, the Quran says about its springs, a fountain where the devotees of Allah do drink, making it erupt, thus flowing through their own endeavors. 76:6. This fountain is one which they tear open from their insides, through their inner efforts, i.e., that fountain which flows from the depths of their hearts. This fountain is called Salsabil. 76:18. i.e., which while asking its way, flows forward on its own accord. In another verse the Quran states, now no person knows what delights of the eye are kept hidden in reserve for them as a reward for their good deeds. 32:17. It is clear from this that we cannot understand the paradise in the hereafter. We can make a guess through the metaphorical examples. We should keep this reality in mind, that though the words are in Arabic, their meanings are metaphorical. The thorns of most doubts and suspicions arise when this fundamental reality is ignored. 20.2 Paradise of Adam. The parable mentioned in the Quran about Adam is not about one man or one couple, but is a narrative of mankind presented as an example in which Adam represents men, and his wife Eve is not mentioned by name in the Quran, represents women. The Quran states that in the initial stages of humanity, human life was very simple and was free from hard struggle. Means of sustenance were plenty, and there was no conflict as to ownership. The one who was hungry could fill his belly from wherever he wished. The general term used, wherever he wished he could eat, is a very important phrase. Food, dress and shelter, i.e., the basic needs of life, were available for everyone without hardship or any worry. There were no mutual squabbles and there was no clash of interests. After this, there arose in man's heart the desire for personal interest, and its basic motive was to cater for the future of his children. That is, in place of Bani Adam, mankind, everyone was filled with concern for his own children. This is why everyone started accumulating for himself. This is what the Quran terms as Iblisi doctrine. According to the Quranic concept, Satan or Iblis is a simile which gives name to human emotions and desires which wish to be gratified by going against the guidance of the revelation. This affected the initial harmonious human life of community and cooperation, which transformed into conflicts and mutual rivalry, and thus that initial paradise was snatched from man. Now, in order to regain that paradise, man needs to shape his society in the light of the permanent values of the Quran. This will result in turning the whole of mankind into one big community in which there will be a life of unity and cooperation. Since such a life will be established by man himself, it will therefore not only meet the physical needs, but will also help to develop his self. And when this developed self after death moves on to the next stage, there too it will have a life of paradise. This is the parable of Adam quoted in various verses in the Quran. Because the subject at this time under discussion is not to explain the story of Adam, but is only about the Jannat of Adam, Adam's paradise. This is why we will present only those aspects of the details which refer to this. In Surah Baqarah it is stated, we said, O Adam, dwell you and your wife in the garden and eat of the bountiful things therein as, where and when you will, but approach not this tree, i.e., don't be divided like the branches of a tree, or you will run into harm and transgression. 2:35. After this it is stated that Satan misguided them, and as a consequence there were wedges of self-interest created between various people, and this is how Adam lost his paradise. 2:36. On this Adam was very regretful and repented, and Allah stated that a mistake has been surely committed by you, but this mistake is not such which cannot be remedied. From us you will keep receiving divine guidance, and whoever among you in the light of this guidance shapes their society based on its values will be protected from fear and grief. 2:37-38. These details are mentioned in Surah Araf with this addition, that in reference to sexual attraction between man and woman, man was self-deceived into thinking that he could get indefinite life by having children. So in place of mankind, he started chasing the interests of his own progeny, as a result of which his paradise disappeared. 7:19-25. It is made clear here that the Quran is not against family and children, in fact it recognizes their attraction for human beings. It simply states that your society should be organized in such a way that everyone is concerned with the sustenance of everyone else. The desire to accumulate all, for yourself or for your children, should not overtake you. In Surah Taha in reference to Jannat it is stated to Adam, there is therein enough provision for you not to go hungry, nor to go naked, nor to suffer from thirst, nor from the sun's heat. All basic needs will be met. 20:118-119. If you succumb to the iblis of individual self-interest, he will create such conditions in which you will be deprived of these basic necessities, and to gain them you will have to go through extreme hardships and struggles. 20:117. After this it is noted how Adam became deceived and he lost his paradise. He was told that in order to regain this lost paradise, he would need to organize his society according to the guidance of Allah. Regarding this it is stated that you should always keep the following principle in mind. But whosoever turns away from my message, the Quran, verily for him is a life narrowed down, economic deprivation, and we shall raise him up blind on the day of judgment. 20:124. This makes it clear that 1. By following the divine laws, as in the Quran, man can regain his earthly paradise. 2. The people who go against these values, their living will be affected. 3. The one whose living is restricted in this life, his hereafter will be ruined. 20.3 Paradise in this world. As mentioned previously, for Arabs gardens and flowing water were signs of great prosperity and wealth in this life. This had such significance for them that the opponents of the last messenger used to say, if you were truly the messenger of Allah, then you should have such an orchard of dates and grapes in which there are streams with flowing water. Or, until you have a garden of date trees and vines, and cause rivers to gush forth in their midst, carrying abundant water. 17:91. In reply to this, the revelation answered that they speak of one orchard. Allah will according to his divine law bestow on you many orchards. Jannat. Underneath will be streams of flowing water, and along with this there will be palaces for you as well. Blessed is he who, if that were his will, as per his laws, could give you better things than those gardens beneath which rivers flow. And he could give you palaces secure to dwell in. 25:10. This is that paradise which a society with a righteous system, through Iman and righteous deeds, will achieve in this life. To achieve such a Jannat, The degree to which the last messenger and his companions had to struggle and endeavor with persistence and perseverance. The Quran records this in its verses as evidence for posterity. This was the bargain business, about which the Quran notes, O you who have Iman, shall I lead you to a bargain that will save you from a grievous penalty? That you have Iman in Allah and His Messenger, and that you strive your utmost in the cause of Allah with your property and your persons. That will be best for you, if you but knew. He will provide protection on your mistakes, and admit you to gardens beneath which rivers flow, and to beautiful mansions in gardens of eternity. That is indeed the supreme achievement. 61. 10-12. In Surah Tawbah it states that as a consequence of Iman, migration and jihad, give them glad tidings of a mercy from Himself, of His good pleasure, and of gardens for them, wherein are delights that endure. 9-21. As a result of these persistent efforts to establish the Islamic system, they were made owners of the lands and properties, and of the wealth and resources of their opponents. 33-27. Whenever they gained a new victory, they would acknowledge. They will say, Hamd be to Allah, who has truly fulfilled His promise, as per His laws, to us, and has given us this land in heritage. We can dwell in the garden as we will. How excellent a reward for those who work righteousness. 39-74. This is that promise of Allah which is referred to in Surah Nur. For those who have Iman and do righteous deeds, Allah has promised them that He will surely establish them on earth as He established those who met these conditions before them. 24-55. These were the promises made by Allah which the Mu'mineen were later reminded of. 5-11-8-26. This cannot be acquired in one day, as sustained effort and continuous endeavor is required for this. In the case of those who say, Our Rabb is Allah, and, further, stand straight and steadfast, the angels descend on them. Fear you not, they suggest, nor grieve, but receive the glad tidings of the garden of bliss, the which you were promised. We are your protectors in this life and in the hereafter. Therein you will have all that yourself shall desire. Therein you will have all that you ask for. A hospitable gift from one who gives protection and is merciful. 41-30-32. In another verse regarding the promise of Jannat it is stated that Allah will not let His Messenger and His companions be humiliated. 66-8. In Surah Yunus it is made clear that in Jannat there will be no humiliation and disgrace. 10-26. In relation to the famous agreement with the pagans of Makkah, called Hudaybiyah, which was a prelude to the Meccan victory, Surah Al-Fatah was revealed. In this surah, the Mu'mineen were reassured that you need not be discouraged with the apparent compromise in this agreement, as Allah will soon bestow victory on you. That He may admit the men and women who believed to gardens beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for 48-5. So that Allah could admit those Mu'min men and women into gardens Jannat, beneath which rivers flow, and their opponents could receive punishment in the form of their defeat. 48-6. From these explanations it is clear that the consequences of having Iman and doing righteous deeds leads to achieving a life of Jannat in this world. And for the people who gain in this way, because their self is developed as well, they get Jannat in the next life as well. This is the reason that the Quran has mentioned 2 Jannat. But for such as fear the time when they will stand before their Rabb, there will be 2 gardens. 55-46. For the one who is concerned that I have to stand in the divine court and be held accountable in front of Allah for my deeds and character, there are 2 paradises, a paradise in this world and another in the hereafter. These are the most elevated places. Besides this, there are other paradises at another level, and those are also 2 in number. 55. 62. After these details, the Quran addresses those of us who wish to attain paradise by empty prayers only. Or do you think that you will enter the garden of bliss without such trials and tribulations as came to those who passed away before you? They encountered suffering and adversity, and were so shaken in spirit that even the messenger and those of Iman who were with him cried, "When will come the help of Allah?" Verily, the help of Allah is always near. 214. This is in reference to the paradise of collective life. The Quran has declared that the family in which the husband and wife's ideas, doctrines, beliefs and iman in the truth of the permanent values leads to mutual compatibility and one vision, to be Jannat, and a family in which there are mutual clashes and conflicts as Jahannam. 221. The point needs clarification before we go any further. A verse of the Quran is quoted previously according to which it is stated that the one who avoids the divine laws, his life in this world will be of deprivation and humiliation, and the one whose life here is restricted, on the day of judgment he will also be raised up as blind. This raises the question that if a nation is poor and deprived, will its inhabitants just by being poor and deprived be consigned to hell? This is not the case, but it is as follows. 1. If a nation for some reason has gone downhill, or is living according to a wrong system, and has become content with its existing condition, then it lives a life of hell in this world, and in the hereafter will also go to hell. 2. But if this nation, or some of its people, are not satisfied with the present lot and make efforts to change it, even if they are not able to overturn this wrong system during their lifetime and transform their condition, their life in the hereafter will be bright and successful. In the time of the last messenger himself, the Mu'minin who while engaged in the struggle before the Islamic system was established, left this life, their life in this world was undoubtedly one of hardship, but who can doubt in their being inheritors of paradise of the hereafter? 3. Contrary to this, if a nation harnesses the natural resources and makes its worldly life prosperous and wealthy and achieves power and status, but does not follow the permanent values, though its life in this world will be prosperous, its next life will be of hell. So much so, that its prosperity in this life will not be long-lasting, because the foundation of a wrong system in a society has the seed of self-destruction in it. 4. For the nation which adopts the permanent values in this world and establishes a system based on these values, its life in this world will be of paradise and the next life will also be of paradise. The prosperity and successes of this life will keep reaching them while it remains on this path. Regarding paragraph 3, above, an illustration of this in the Quran is the state of the previous nations, e.g., in the case of the people of Ad. Will you be left secure in the enjoyment of all that you have here? Gardens and springs. 26. 147. The same words have been used in reference to the Jannat of the Mu'minin. 15. 45. But they rebelled against the divine laws and as a consequence they met the destruction. 26. 158. Similarly regarding the people of Pharaoh it is said they lived a life of Jannat. But when they rebelled against the divine laws they were turned out of their land and in their place Bani Israel were made their heirs. 26. 57, 26. 59, 44. 25-28. This reality has been explained through a few examples in the Quran. In Surah Al-Qalam there is an example of the owners of gardens whose trees were heavy with fruit and they were proceeding to pick it. But they took strict precautions that the poor and needy should not take any share of it. Then the Quran says that according to the law of requital, there was such a windstorm that the gardens were razed to the ground. 68, 17-26. A similar example is given in Surah Kahf. 18, 32-44. In Surah Al-Baqarah it is stated, "Would any of you like it if he had a blooming orchard with trees heavily laden with fruit? And he becomes old and has young children. And then to this orchard should come such a storm leaving destruction in its wake and its trees are burned and left as ashes. And in this way in his old age he has no means of sustenance nor any way to support his family." 2. 266. It is clear from these examples also that the prosperity and success of Jannat in this life is associated with a righteous system. In a wrong system one can gain this temporarily. But ultimately such a system will be destroyed. That which is sustainable and long-lasting is only for that Jannat which is based on the righteous deeds and a righteous system. 20.4 Details of Jannat. We now move on to the details of Jannat as referred to in the Quran. Before this it is important to understand a few issues in this respect. 1. The details of this Jannat are related to this life also. As far as the life in the hereafter is concerned, these details should be taken metaphorically and not as literal meanings. 2. As far as the Jannat of this life is concerned, the meanings of these words can be taken literally. However, it does not mean that all the comforts and adornments and wealth and status of civilization and culture mentioned under this subject will remain the same throughout all ages. At the time of the revelation of the Quran, around the Arabian Peninsula there were two great civilizations, i.e., the Persian and Roman empires. Arab merchants used to visit their towns and thus were familiar with their items of luxury and comfort, etc. The Quran has referred to these things for the Arabs of that time, and the fact is that all these comforts of Jannat were also acquired by them within a short period of time. It is not necessary that in every age these comforts of Jannat will remain the same. As life progresses, the nature of these things will change as well, therefore their explanation will then be considered metaphorical. In Surah Al-Baqarah it is stated that the Jannat which will result as a consequence of Iman and righteous deeds will be the same, but the means of sustenance within it will not remain the same. 2. 25. 3. One characteristic of Jannat is such which makes it paradise. It is that all its blessings will be equally shared by all its inhabitants. It will not be the case that one class enjoys all the comforts, and the rest are dying of hunger. There will be no division into classes e.g., upper, middle or working class, etc. It will have categories according to the abilities to carry out certain work, but no class difference in relation to facilities and prosperity. This is the Jannat which the Quranic system wishes to shape in this world. The Jannat of this life is the mirror image of the Jannat in the hereafter. After these introductory premises, a few more points also need elucidation. A. Azwaj. This is generally taken to mean wives, so much so that zawja is taken to mean a wife but not a husband. But in the Arabic language and according to the Quran its meanings are very wide. When two things are such that one cannot be complete without the other, then each one is called the zayu of the other, e.g., two wheels of a vehicle are called zayu of each other because if one wheel is missing or faulty the other becomes useless. From this meaning, azwaj means those companions who have similar thinking, values and outlook. This includes both men and women. According to the standard of the Quran, a husband and wife have to be the most close in thinking and outlook, therefore a husband is the zayu of his wife and the wife is the zayu of her husband. But because the concept of paradise in the hereafter is non-physical, That is why in this paradise azwaj means that the companions will be of the same values, thinking and outlook, which will include both men and women. We cannot say whether in that life the present difference in nature of man and woman will be the same or it will be of another form. From azwaj we should not infer that it relates to any kind of sexuality in the next life. As previously mentioned, the form that life will take there, we cannot comprehend or grasp at our present level of consciousness today. b. Horan. Regarding Jannat, there is also mention of this term Horan, which our mind also relates to relations, e.g., marital or sexual, between a man and woman. Keep it in mind that sexual relations between man and woman are not a bad thing, and if this condition is continued in the next life, we should not feel any reticence. But when we cannot even ascertain the state of our consciousness in the next life, then we should not try and imagine the details of it in present material forms. However, the life of paradise in this world will be expressed in material forms. c. Hur is a plural word which is used for both masculine and feminine. One of its meanings is such people, man or woman, who have very clear white eyes with a very black iris. Among Arabs such an eye was considered very beautiful. But after this, among them this word began to be used for those people who were of very pious character and visionary outlook. Therefore in their lexicon, the word Arwaran, the plural of which is Hur, means of pure and clean intellect, i.e., the intellect which is not dishonest or cunning and is instead very pious and transparent and which does not teach any to deceive. An is similarly a plural form of Ayanu, which is used for someone who has beautiful eyes and is used both for both male and female. Therefore the Hur of Jannat does not mean beautiful women, but people of very pure character and very sharp intellect but who are not cunning or deceptive. This includes both men and women. If it has any reference to physical beauty, then it will mean people with beautiful and clear eyes. d. Asawara. This word means a bracelet made of gold. During the Persian Empire, those who were in the inner circle of the emperor, and whose status was considered very important, used to get a gold bracelet from the emperor as a mark of their eminence and would wear these bracelets as a sign to indicate their elevated rank. The Quran has used this term as a sign to indicate the successful and eminent status of life in paradise. Anhar. Canals. In the Quran there is reference to canals of honey and milk which means abundance and prosperity. In Arabic the word nair, singular of anhar, is used for flowing water, which is not necessarily a canal. Sharab. All types of drinks. We use this word to refer to wine or liquor. But among Arabs this denotes any kind of drink. The drinks in Jannat are differentiated by stating that in them there will be nothing to cause intoxication or to give rise to any debility. Principally, we should keep in mind that Jannat is the name of the society of the Mu'mineen. So everything which is declared haram or prohibited in the Quran cannot be legitimate in Jannat. Nor can those things whose use is allowed in Jannat be considered haram or disallowed now. We now come to the details of Jannat, and need to bear in mind this reality, that this is a metaphorical representation of a luxurious, respectable and dignified life, and its first audience were the nomadic Arabs of 14 centuries ago. 20.5 General depiction. The climate is neither very hot nor very cold, streams flowing with clean water, shaded greenery all around, fruit trees whose branches are bent heavily laden with fruit. In the shades of these trees, on the banks of the streams, there are spread carpets of very high quality with couches. And there will be companions of similar temperament, color, one outlook and values gathered together having virtuous discussions. Meat of fowls, roast meats, to eat, extremely delicious drinks, everything beautiful to behold and hear, and such luxuries in it whose effects do not debilitate human potentials but instead promote development of human abilities. On the other side, there are grand palaces with chandeliers, hanging curtains of pure silk, beautiful carpets, carved tables and chairs, crystal ornaments, gold and silver utensils and crockery, all types of conveniences and comforts, and also peace and tranquility, and this is the reward of their own hard work, and in which all members of society, far above the distinction of yours and mine, will be sharing equally. Now let us look at these particulars in the words of the Quran. 20.6 Dress, utensils, decorations and sustenance. Gold ornaments and dresses of silk, seated high on thrones. 18. 31. Prized pearls to wear. 35. 33. The following is another scenario in the Quran referring to Jannat. They will be on thrones encrusted with gold and precious stones, reclining on them, facing each other. Round about them youths of perpetual freshness, with goblets, shining, beakers and cups, filled out of clear flowing fountains. No after-ache will they receive therefrom, nor will they suffer intoxication. And with fruits any that they may select, and the flesh of fowls any that they may desire. 56. 15 to 21. See also 37. 42 to 47. They will all be sitting in front of each other as brothers, companions, and there will be nothing in any of their hearts which they wish to keep hidden from the others. No jealousy, vengeance, meanness, prejudice, nor hardship or tiredness. 15. 47 to 49. Orchards, springs and fruit. 44. 52 to 55. Climate such that there will be neither extreme heat nor severe cold. Trees with branches bent low and fruit so close that everyone's hands can reach it. Silver crockery and glass goblets, utensils, silken dresses, bracelets denoting achievement. 69. 23, 76. 13 to 22. In another verse the following is outlined. In a garden on high, where they shall hear no word of vanity. Therein will be a bubbling spring. Therein will be thrones of dignity, raised on high, goblets placed ready, and cushions set in rows, and rich carpets, all spread out. 88. 10 to 16. See also 22, 23, 55, 54 to 75, and 78. 32. Alongside the flowing streams, beneath the shades of trees, companions of similar taste and the picnic parties, and each according to his preference will have sustenance available according to their desires. 36. 55 to 57. Fruit trees which have no thorns. Long shadows. Water from springs which does not have to be dug up with hard work. Abundance of fruit available all year round and available to everyone, no one to prevent their access, no one to hinder or stop them. 56. 28 to 33, 77. 41 to 43. The following verse covers another aspect. On thrones of dignity will they command a sight of all things. You will recognize in their faces the beaming brightness of bliss. Their thirst will be slaked with pure wine sealed. The seal thereof will be musk. And for this let those aspire, who have aspirations. 83. 23 to 26. Sustenance will be available on a continuous basis. 19. 62. And will be plentiful. 38. 51. And everyone will have knowledge of it, i.e., the stores of sustenance will not be hidden or concealed, and everyone will get it with respect and dignity. 37. 41 to 44, and 52. 19. 20.7 Drinks. 1. Streams of clean water whose taste will not alter. Streams of honey and milk whose taste will not go sour. 47. 15. 2. Pure cups full to the brim. 78. 34. 3. Sealed bottles full of drinks. 83. 25 to 26. 4. In these meetings such drinks will be served which will be white like ice. And the taste will be very delicious and its effect will be so good that it will neither intoxicate nor will there be any reduction in its delightful effects. 37. 45 to 47, 52. 23, 56. 19. Now let us look at the properties and effects of these drinks. In Surah Al-Dar it is mentioned, as to the righteous, they shall drink of a cup mixed with kaffir, a fountain where the devotees of Allah do drink, making it flow in unstinted abundance. Opening parenthesis. 76. 5 to 6. Later in the same surah it is mentioned, crystal clear, made of silver. They will determine the measure thereof, according to their wishes, and they will be given to drink thereof a cup of wine, mixed with zanjabil. 76. 16 to 17. The effect of kaffir is known for reducing a raised body temperature, while the effect of zanjabil is to increase the lowered body temperature. Therefore the drinks in Jannat will create balance in the human character, i.e., where the temperature is high it will be reduced, and where there is a deficiency it will be compensated, and in this way a balanced personality will emerge. Then this spring, the origin of this drink, in Jannat is named Sal Sabil. Sal and Sabil means flowing forward while asking directions. As will be explained later, Jannat is not the final destination of the evolutionary journey. It is just one of the destinations from where the journey of life has to move forward. This is why the water of Jannat is named as ever-flowing, and there is mention of springs which never stop. 88. 12. It is characterized by the name Sal Sabil, i.e., progressing forward and to keep progressing. A little later this drink is called Sharab-e-Tahur. 76. 21. Free from all types of impurities, that is such a drink in which there is respect for humanity and dignity for mankind. In Surah Tatfif, there is mention of a source of springs located at a height called Tasneem. With it will be given a mixture of Tasneem, a spring, from the waters, whereof drink those nearest to Allah. 83. 27 to 28. Tasneem means heights, i.e., the sources of the springs of the life of Jannat will be at great heights. Obviously, that spring source which is at a height, its water will flow forward under its own momentum. Through these metaphors it is evident that in the life of Jannat there will be balance and equilibrium in the human self, and the source of its abilities will be at such heights as a result of which, without any external support, it will keep progressing forward. There is the desire for competitiveness within man. 83. 26. This means that whoever wishes to progress should move forward in this field and develop his self, so that having acquired equilibrium and balance, he can under his own momentum keep progressing forward. The purpose of the challenges and endeavors of life is, to any of you that chooses to press forward, or to follow behind. 74. 37. The desire to get ahead of each other produces jealousy in the hearts, but in the life of paradise this desire to exceed each other will not produce jealousy and envy. Instead the reality will be the following: and we shall remove from their hearts any lurking sense of injury. 7. 43, 15, 47. 20.8 Azwaj Mutarat, righteous companions. We have already discussed the term Azwaj as meaning companions with similar values and beliefs, and this includes husbands and wives. According to the Quran, the relation between husband and wife is of a companion. In the paradise in this world, Azwaj and Horan will include husband and wife. In the paradise of the next life, from the metaphorical interpretation, we cannot say what shape the companionships will take. These are those righteous companions about which the Quran has spoken. The Quran has stated that the following people will be in this gardens of perpetual bliss. They shall enter there, as well as the righteous among their fathers, their spouses, and their offspring. And angels shall enter unto them from every gate, with the salutation. 13, 23, see also, 40, 8, 52, 21. These are called Azwaj Mutarat c. 2, 25, 3, 15, 4, 57. In some places only the term Azwaj is used, 43, 70, and elsewhere Horan, 44, 54, 56, 22, 52, 20. In the age of ignorance, before the advent of Islam, the condition of a woman was such that she had no status and she was kept ignorant and uneducated to such an extent that, in the words of the Quran, she could not stand up in court and give her opinion or evidence in her own case. 43, 18. The Quran gave women a new elevated status of respect and dignity in society, and through education and training such a transformation took place that she became articulate and confident. In a society of paradise, these are the characteristics of women about which it is stated. And on status raised high, we have created their companions, of special creation, and untouched, pure. 56, 34-36. See also, 78, 33. We provided them with such education and training and gave them such an upbringing, that they were transformed into a seemingly new creation. They became such as if their seed was of the same source and they came out of the same mold. Having similar outlook and values, skilled and competent, fluent and articulate, and possessing a high degree of self-respect and self-esteem. 38, 52. Guarding their chastity and not allowing the gaze to roam. 37, 48. In Surah Rahman it is stated, in him will be maidens, chaste, restraining the glances, whom no man, urban or nomad, before them has touched. 55, 56. See also, 37, 48-49, 55, 58, 55, 70-72. Before moving forward, this is a point at which to pause and reflect on this reality that in a society at the time of marriage, every young man or woman who wishes to get married has full certainty that his or her potential companion, i.e., the chastity of their future partner, is such that he or she has not looked at another with any bad intentions. Then this certainty and contentment is maintained throughout their lives. What doubt can there be of such a society not being Jannat? 20.9 Variety and diversity in paradise. In Surah Rahman it is stated about paradise in this world and in the next life. But for such as fear the time when they will stand before their Rabb, there will be 2 gardens. Then which of the attributes of your Rabb will you deny? Containing all kinds, including knowledge, sustenance and delights. 55, 46-48. These 2 paradises will be based on various interests and pursuits. Human life desires variety, and for the development of its creative abilities and their expression and use, there are many aspects. For these aspects, the Quran has called this paradise Zawata Avnan. After this, in this surah there is mention of various aspects of comforts and conveniences. Therefore, the life of paradise is not such in which eating, drinking and sleeping are the only activities. That life will have branches upon branches of various subjects and technical skills, so this life will be full of all types of comforts and pleasures, successes and achievements. 56. 89. So much so, that this will include beauty and aesthetics, adornments, creativity, art and very high quality music as well. 30. 15. 43. 70. 20.10 Getting whatever you wish. The life of Jannat has been comprehensively summed up by the Quran in one verse by stating, "They will have therein all that they wish. Thus does Allah reward the righteous." 16. 31. See also 21. 102. 25. 16. 42. 22. Whatever they wish for, they will get, and whatever they want will happen, in this world and in the hereafter. 41. 30-31. In another verse, there will be there all that the self could desire, all that their eyes could delight in. 43. 71. In another place is stated an aspect even beyond this. There will be for them therein all that they wish, and more besides in our presence. 50. 35. There is a great reality implied in this verse. At the level of our present life in this world, no matter how elaborate human desires and wishes are, and according to his thinking these may be unlimited, these will remain confined to the concepts which can be formed in this physical world and its environment only. But the life in the hereafter will be many times more elevated. In that life what human desires will be, we cannot sense or even conceive of. This is why it is stated that they will get whatever they wish and even more beyond that. That is, that which they cannot even desire at present will also be made available. This is why it is stated that whatever their Rabb bestows on them, they will accept. 51. 16. 52. 18. 20.11 They will have no fear or grief. In the life of Jannat there will be no kind of fear or grief. 6. 48. 7. 49. 41. 30. 43. 68 and 46. 13. Fear arises from external threats and dangers, while grief is the name of the internal state of distress of an individual. In a society of Jannat there will be no worry about external dangers and threats, nor will there be grief or uncertainty, even the greatest terror will not produce any heartache. 21. 103. Their faces will be bright and peaceful. 83. 24. And they will be very pleased at seeing the rewards of the deeds. 84. 988. 8. Because of their protection from any grief and sorrow, they will enjoy inner peace and contentment, and for this they will bow in gratitude to Allah. 35. 34. In this there will not be wearisome efforts and tiresome activity. 15. 48. 35. 35. And neither sadness nor disappointments. 37. 47. They will have a life of bliss. 69. 21. Life will be successful and prosperous. 101. 7. And they will have a great state with all amenities, and with that, success and achievements. 76. 20. 20.12 A society with peace and security. With all these amenities and energies, society will be such where there will be no vanities. They will not there hear any vain discourse, but only salutations of peace. 19. 62. See also 56. 25-26. 88. 11. 78. 35. The angels will welcome them with praiseworthy and good wishes. 13. 24. 16. 32. 39. 73. Everyone among them will wish peace on the others and will desire to establish a system of sustenance as proposed in the Quran. 5. 54. With peace and security. 15. 46. Jannat is but a place of security. 44, 51-55, and Home of Peace, 6, 127, in which there will be good wishes for everyone, which will provide pleasure to hearts and minds. 14, 23-25, 75, 20.13 Pleasure from Allah, with all these benefits and above all the pleasure of Allah. 3, 15. This means life conforming to the divine laws and, within human constraints, adopting the attributes of Allah. 5, 119, 9, 158, 22. And this is the greatest success and achievement of whoever attains it. 9, 72. This is the Jannat which is spread over the whole of the universe. 3, 133, 57, 21. And which is the best place of rest and abode. 25, 24, 25, 76. 20.14 Recompense of deeds. A voice will be heard in paradise. Behold, the garden before you. You have been made its inheritors, as a consequence of your deeds of righteousness. 7, 43. See also, 43, 72. This Jannat cannot be gained by requesting it, nor as a charity, nor by intercession, nor as a free prize. It is the natural consequence only of man's deeds. It is embedded in his own endeavors and accomplishments. 20.15 Hasunat Murtafakan, righteous deeds which rise. Through a life of prosperity and comforts, man becomes lazy and becomes less hard-working. However, regarding the life of Jannat, the Quran sheds light on a reality due to which the nature of prosperity and comfort changes. In Surah Kahf, regarding life in hell, the Quran states, Sa'at Murtafakan. 18, 29. Murtafak is that through the support of which something rises up. The Quran states that in a non-Quranic society, hell, the comforts and conveniences which are available cannot help to raise humanity. Contrary to this, it states that in Jannat, Hasunat Murtafakan. 18, 31. These pleasantries and niceties of life will help man to rise higher through balanced support. That is, as a consequence of this, the life of these people will not descend to an animal level and will instead be able to develop further. To what extent these comforts are an indication of success and accomplishment which take human life to new heights. This is the characteristic of a society of paradise both in this life and in the life of the hereafter. 20.16 Who deserves this Jannat? A man regularly goes for a walk every morning, and day by day his health improves, and what is this good health of his a consequence of? Due to his persistent efforts. The same is applicable to Jannat when a group of people who, having strong belief in the divine laws, which is called Iman, endeavor to establish a society according to these values, then as a consequence Jannat emerges in this world. The positive effect of this effort is imprinted on the self of an individual, and the sum total of these effects result in the emergence of Jannat in the hereafter as well. Therefore Jannat is the name given to the results of sustained efforts along the right lines. The Quran has presented this reality in different ways. 20.17 Jannat is the consequence of your deeds. In Surah Nahl it is stated that the angels will address the mu'mineen saying, Enter you the garden, because of the good deeds which you did in the world. 16, 32. See also, 56, 24. In another verse it is stated, Such will be the garden of which you are made heirs for your good deeds in life. 43, 72. See also, 7, 43. In one place after mentioning Jannat the Quran states, For the like of this let all strive, who wish to strive. 37, 61. See also, 3, 136, 29. 58. In one place, regarding the owners of paradise, it is stated that these are those people whose righteous deeds have materialized in good results. 46. 16. In another verse it is confirmed that whatever you did in the days gone by, this is its result. 69. 24. Your efforts came to fruition in this way. 76. 22. And in another place, that the inhabitants of paradise, seeing the results of the deeds, will be much pleased. 88. 9. 20.18 The results of Iman and righteous deeds, Amal-e-Saleh. If we look at the Quran from beginning to end, the theme of Iman and Amal-e-Saleh is described as the central characteristic defining a moment, and its unalterable outcome is Jannat. The Quran states, "Verily Allah will admit those who have Iman and do righteous deeds, to gardens beneath which rivers flow." 47. 12. See also 23. 10-11. The places where Iman and Amal-e-Saleh are mentioned in the Quran are so numerous that it is not possible to note them all. 20.19 Jannat for Muttaqin. Paradise for the righteous. One of the terms in the Quran is muttaqin. This means those people who guard themselves against those dangerous paths in life which go against the permanent values of the Quran, and follow the divine laws. They are declared heirs of paradise. Verily, for the righteous, are gardens of delight, in the presence of their Rabb. 68. 34. See also 51. 15-19. These verses are also numerous and are not quoted here. 20.20 Jannat for Mozanin. Paradise for doers of balanced deeds. In some places the righteous people are declared to be Mozanin, which refers to those who live their life with balance and equilibrium within the confines of the divine laws, taking joy in the things which their sustainer gives them, because before then, they lived as Mozanin, righteous. 51. 16. See also 10. 26. In Surah Mursalat both Muttaqin and Mozanin are referred to, and it is declared that for both is Jannat. 77. 41-44. These are all characteristics of the Mu'minin, i.e., those who follow the path of guidance as defined by the Quran. 7. 43. In some places they are also called Abrar, i.e., those whose self through righteous conduct has developed to the extent where it encompasses a breadth of outlook and expansive vision. 82. 1383. 22. The inhabitants of paradise are also called Ashab al-Yamin, the companions of the right hand, i.e., the possessors of respect and piety. 56. 27, 38, 90, 69. 19, 74. 39. Obviously, what else can be greater than this respect and piety, that a man's life in this world be full of success and achievement, and the life of the hereafter also be one of pleasure and eminence. 20.21 Jannat is earned through sustained effort. Whoever accepts Islam, i.e., becomes a Muslim, signs an agreement in which he agrees to sell his life and material possessions to Allah, and in return Allah commits to provide them. Allah has purchased of the believers their persons and the goods, for theirs, in return, is the garden of paradise. 9. 111. According to this agreement, the state of these people is that they are ever ready in time of need to fight in battle in the path of Allah, and then they are either victorious or lay down their life. They fight in His cause, and slay and are slain. 9. 111. In this way they earn paradise. This is stated earlier in the following verse. But the messenger, and those who have Iman with him, strive and fight with their wealth and their persons. For them are all good things, and it is they who will prosper. 9. 88. See also 61. 11-12. This is why for those people who according to their own standards, proclaim to be the owners of paradise, it is stated clearly in the Quran that you cannot get paradise by doing nothing. For this, you need great patience and have to pass through very difficult and challenging stages. 3. 142-2. 214. Only those who persevere in these dangerous phases get the benefits of paradise. 47. 4-6. For this, everything has to be abandoned which is needed to be left behind, even your homes. And every kind of hardship has to be faced with a willing heart. 3. 195. Iman, and with it perseverance, are two essential requirements to obtain Jannat both in this life and in the hereafter. 41. 46. 13-14. Its practical method is to obey this system which was established according to the divine laws by the last messenger, and after him, his followers continued it. And whoever re-establish it, this will be called the obedience of Allah and Messenger, and this is a fundamental requirement in the achievement of Jannat. 4. 13, 48, 17. Therefore, obtaining Jannat is not an individual matter, but a collective program, for which forming a team is essential. This is why the Quran states, "Enter you, then, among my servants. Yea, enter you my heaven." 89. 29-30. In order to be among his people it is necessary that man should rise beyond his personal benefits, and keep his emotions and desires under control and in obedience of the divine laws. 79. 40-41. If on this path, a wrong step is taken, then it is necessary to immediately retrace your steps and go back onto the right path. This is called Tawbah. 66. 8. These are the people who are true in the proclamation of their Iman, and they deserve Jannat. 5. 119. Because of this program, their self develops to such an extent that they are capable of going from this life to the evolutionary stages of development in the next life. This is what is called self-development. Tazkiyah nafs. This cannot be obtained in monasteries, but is obtained in a society of paradise. 20. 76. This was that society which was established by the last messenger and his companions. 9. 100. These people did not foster friendships with those who opposed the Islamic system. 58. 22. This is the reason the Quran has declared the companions of the messenger as owners of Jannat. 9. 100. 20.22 Jannat for mankind. The doors to this Jannat are open to the whole of mankind for all times, whoever becomes included in this category of Mu'mineen. He has a right to Jannat, whatever may be his origin of birth or religion. In Surah Al-Baqarah this point is made clear. And they say, "None shall enter paradise unless he be a Jew or a Christian." Those are their vain desires. Say, "Produce your proof if you are truthful." Nay, whoever submits his whole self to Allah, i.e., follows the Quran, and is a doer of good, he will get his reward with his Rabb. On such shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. 2. 111-112. See also 5. 65, 5. 85. 20.23 Jannat for men and women. And in this there is no differentiation made between men and women, the doors of Jannat are open equally to all. If any do deeds of righteousness, be they male or female, and have Iman, through intellect and reasoning, they will enter heaven, and not the least injustice will be done to them. 4. 124. See also 3. 195, 16. 97. 40. 40. The promise of Jannat is for Mu'mineen, both men and women. 9. 72, 48. 5. And the paths to self-development are equally open to both. 57. 12. This is that Jannat whose desire swells the heart of every moment, so much so that even the messengers of Allah in their purified hearts wished for it. 26:85. And those mu'mineen who are trapped among wrong people also have this desire. 66:11. 20.24 Miscellaneous. 1. One who commits shirk, i.e., along with the sovereignty of Allah, obeys other powers and observes their laws, and goes from this world in this state. For him Jannat is declared haram, forbidden. 5:72. 2. The people who verbally accept the divine laws but practically go against these laws, and also those who rebel against these laws, they can never enter Jannat. 7:40. 3. Human beings are divided into two groups only, one deserves Jannat and the other meant for Jahannam. 42:7. And these two groups can never be alike. 59:20. The life of the inhabitants of Jannat is successful and prosperous. 59:23. 185. This is a very great achievement, i.e., it is not only the name of the place to protect oneself from Jahannam, which is called salvation, as this is a negative characteristic, but from a positive aspect Jannat is the name of achieving the best results. This means to spend a better life than the existing one, and whatever man is at this present time, to become better than this, to reach a higher plane than this current life. 4. Between the inhabitants of Jannat and the inhabitants of Jahannam there is a fine screen. This screen of differentiation is between the human self and their inner state. 7:46. This is such a partition within which there is mercy, and on the other side is hell. 57:13. 5. In the Quran, there is mention of mutual exchanges between the inhabitants of paradise and those of hell, and the details have been noted in the chapter on Jahannam. C. 7:44-7, 50:37, 50-51, 57, 13-14, 74, 40-46. 20.25 Jannat forever. 1. Jannat was the one in which Adam resided, which was not the result of his own deeds. It was bestowed on him free. The result was that Adam committed one error of judgment and he was banished from there. And another Jannat is that which the children of Adam earn through their own toil and sweat, i.e., it is the natural consequence of their own righteous deeds. From this no one can expel them, nor shall they ever be asked to leave. 15:48. This is the difference between a free and an earned Jannat. No man can snatch from another his health, education, ability, experience and character. If he wastes it himself, then it is different. Whatever belongs to a man, others can snatch it or cause harm to it, but whatever a man has become, none can take that away from him nor cause harm to it. What man is himself, its name is Jahannam or Jannat. Therefore no one can turn someone out of a paradise achieved like this. This is why it is said that the inhabitants of paradise will stay in it forever. They will dwell therein forever. 98:8. See also 5:119-9, 22:9, 164, 9:65-11. This promise of Allah is firm and true, and whose promise can be more true than that of Allah. 4:122. Its reward will never stop, and neither would they themselves wish to leave it. 41:884, 25:95. 6. Nor will death come there to anyone. 37:58-59, 44, 56. This is about the inhabitants of Jannat, who will not be turned out of it. About Jannat itself, it is stated that its springtimes will be infinite. In the Quran, the best characteristic of Jannat described is beneath which rivers flow. 2:25. The garden without water becomes dry, whereas the garden in which flowing water is always present underneath the trees can never alter in its freshness and greenery. This will be the state of the trees, which will stay fresh and evergreen forever. Regarding the fruits of these trees, it is said that these will be unaffected by changes in climate, and in every season these trees will always bear fruits. 13, 35, 14, 25. These are those very tall trees of human righteous deeds, whose roots are very deep and whose branches are touching the heavens. 14, 24. Therefore, in Jannat there will be no break in its sustenance nor any decrease. 19, 62, 38, 54. Fruit in abundance which will not be discontinued, nor will any be prevented from it. 56, 32 to 33. 20.26 Jannat is forever. What does this mean? As was explained in detail in chapter 19, the duration of the next life is not infinite like Allah, infinity is only for Allah. 57, 3. This is why about Jannat it is also stated, "And those who are blessed shall be in the garden. They will dwell therein for all the time that the heavens and the earth endure, except as your Rabb wills." A gift which will never end. 11, 108. The same words have been used for Jahannam as well. 11, 107. But the final words, "a gift which will never end," used at the end are only mentioned in the case of Jannat. From this, another reality is presented to us, and which is discussed next. 20.27 Jannat is a station, not an end. As we have seen, that life after journeying through various evolutionary stages of development has reached the current human form. After this it has further evolutionary stages to go through. This evolution will now be of the human self. The individual whose self will have reached the requisite level of development so that it has become capable of moving from this life to the next stage. It will be said about him that he has entered Jannat. The one who does not have this ability, he will stop, and this is called the life of Jahannam. The ones who stop at one point. But for those progressing forward, the landscape will be vast. This is why for the inhabitants of Jannat there will be opportunities to go on to further evolutionary stages of development. This is the reason why various grades within Jannat have been referred to. And those foremost in conviction will be foremost in the hereafter. These will be those nearest to Allah. 56, 10 to 11. See also 56, 27. Then it is stated about the inhabitants of Jannat. One day you will see the believing men and the believing women, how their light runs forward before them and by their right hands. The greeting will be, "Good news for you this day. Gardens beneath which flow rivers. To dwell therein for I." This is indeed the highest achievement. 57, 12. See also 66, 8. In this verse, the plural form is used for Jannat. The light of the righteous conduct of the inhabitants of Jannat will brighten their paths, and thus they will progress from one Jannat and arrive in another Jannat. In Surah Zumar it is mentioned that lofty mansions, one above another, have been built. Beneath them flow rivers of delight. Such is the promise of Allah. Never does Allah fail in His promise. 39, 20. The word used for a lofty mansion is Guruf, and the term used is Guruf above Guruf. This word has many connotations. It includes speed of movement, water flowing in abundance in a stream, and a mansion over another mansion and of its height. All these are in its meanings. Therefore, it is said about the inhabitants of Jannat, for them will be all kinds of opportunities and prosperities, eminence and elation, and rising ever higher by progressing stage by stage. As they progress through various evolutionary stages, their state of development will be ever increasing in elevation. Therefore, the life of Jannat is not one of inertia and suspension. It is in itself a dynamic arena of activity, with this difference, that in the life of this world of hell, if it is not based on these values, a man's energies and abilities are spent in obtaining the sustenance of the physical body. In the life of Jannat, man will be completely free from this aspect. Therefore, he will direct all his abilities to further enhancement of his self. Regarding the arena of this worldly life, the Quran has declared, "To any of you that chooses to press forward, or to follow behind." 74:37. This life is a world of deeds, in which man has been left with various potentials so that he who wishes can go forward, and he who wishes can remain behind. About paradise in the next life, the Quran makes it clear, "And for this let those aspire, who have aspirations." 83:26. The individual who wishes in his heart to go forward, should progress in it, which can take him to higher stages of development in the next life. As already noted, this will also make this life beautiful, peaceful and free from grief. This is how human life will go further forwards, and ascend stage by stage. 84:19. What will be its ultimate end, we cannot say. Nor at our present conscious level can we conceptualize it. But its beginning will be from our present life. Fortunate are those who view this opportunity as invaluable and commence laying down the foundation of the Jannat palace brick by brick, through the hands of their righteous deeds without hesitation or delay, as this opportunity will never come again. And they should never overlook this fact, that the life of the hereafter will only be successful for the one whose life in this world is based on righteous conduct. But those who were blind in this world will be blind in the hereafter, and most astray from the path. 17-72.